Hi, and welcome back to Virtual Done Well. One of the most common questions I get about virtual assistants is, how do I communicate with my virtual assistant? It's a really good question, but it's a really simple answer too, and that's what we're going to be talking about this week, coming right up. Okay, so if you've never worked with a virtual assistant before, it can be a little bit confusing because they might be in a different city, different country. How do you communicate with them? Well, I would say that I've got a lot of background and experience in using virtual assistants of all different types, but really what I'm talking about on this channel is virtual assistants who are based overseas and work full-time. Now, if you're wondering why I'm a little biased like that, I'll put some links to some other videos up here. In a nutshell, having virtual assistants overseas is a huge cost advantage, like a 10 times cost advantage. And I tend to use full-time virtual assistants because I find so much for them to do. It's just not worth my while to have part-time, and I don't want to have to compete with another client for their time. So that's it. How do I communicate with virtual assistants? Let me ask you a question. If you have people working in your location, at home, in your office, so other staff, workmates, how do you communicate with them? I do exactly the same with my virtual assistants. And my virtual assistants are all based in the Philippines. So what do I mean? I talk to them. You don't kind of necessarily communicate online all the time with work colleagues who are in your office. Well, I don't either. I basically talk to my VAs. So to give you an idea, and then I'll talk about the tools, I have a number of virtual assistants supporting me. I started off with one, and one is great. If you look at other videos on this channel, you'll hear me talk about the benefits of having one and then when you might need more. But it works all the same since I've had one VA and I've now got a team of 7 looking after me. I talk to them. I basically have a supervisor of my team who's my executive assistant, and I would be talking to her 3 or 4 times a day, just like we were in the same office. I tend not to communicate with the rest of the team so much because my executive assistant kind of looks after them and manages them, although I would be talking to them at least weekly, if not more often, depending on their role. So the different ways that we communicate, usually in the morning, I'll have a quick chat with my EA. We use Skype chat a lot. So I'll jump onto Skype and say, hey, you got a minute? And she'll go, yep. And we'll have a quick video chat, talk about what's coming up in the day, what our priorities are, what we're working on. My priorities are changing all the time, and I will make a confession. I'm a terrible planner. So I really rely on my team to be good planners. So we'll talk about stuff that are coming up, and there's always some last minute things, and then we'll generally check in around lunchtime, maybe towards the end of the day, just 2 or 3 minute chats like you would in the office. It's the chat over the water cooler and talking about priorities and stuff like that. So video chats every day, 2 or 3 times a day. I mean, it depends on your style of working. I use the phone a lot, not quite so much now because this is May 2020 and we're not really traveling much because of the coronavirus. But prior to this, I would be traveling a lot, talking to clients, visiting clients, traveling interstate, overseas. And all of my virtual team have, I'm based in Sydney, they all have Sydney phone numbers. So when I'm out on my mobile, I know I could do Skype and stuff like that, but I'm lazy. I just want it easy. I just call them on my mobile phone. It's a local call for me. There's no charge basically at their end, and we just have a chat on the phone. And they can sort of call me as well. So, I might be traveling out to the airport or something. If my executive assistant needs to remind me of something or make me aware of something, she'll just call my mobile. That's great. Again, just like they were all in the office with me. No problems at all. We use email a little bit, particularly maybe if I'm sending files or if I want to share it with a number of the team members. We use Teams, we use Zoom, we use all kinds of stuff. So that's the sort of day-to-day communication. How do you communicate with them? You talk to them. At least that's my preferred way. I know lots of people with virtual assistants kind of work at the end of email and online tools. I mean, to me, that's very impersonal. They're part of my team. If you've got virtual assistants, they're part of your team. Treat them like that. Talk to them. And we have, you know, at least weekly catch-ups where the whole team gets together, and we have a bit of a joke and talk about personal stuff too. I'm sure I've got a video on that as well. I'll put a video to communication up here. But we'll do at least one huddle a week. So the whole team gets onto Skype and we have a little bit of a chat, and we all have to share a bit of good news and something fun that's happened. And then we talk very briefly. It's about a 15-minute meeting about the things that we're working on and stuff that we need help with and so on. So just the same as if they were in your office. For those of you who are very much more process focused than I am, which is probably most of you, there are some great project management tools out there as well. So my team use them and just give me access to them. But obviously we use things like Teams. I don't personally use Trello. A lot of people use that. Basecamp's one of the older ones. So these collaboration tools are really good. Because we're a reasonable size business, we're a Microsoft Office house. And so we have a lot of stuff on SharePoint, and we use all the Microsoft products like that. So all the VAs are on that. But yeah, I guess the message I just wanted to put out there was, how do you communicate with a VA? Exactly the same way as if they were sitting in your office, almost. You can't stick your head around the door, but you can go, hey, got a minute on Skype and have a video chat. Just the same. Not a problem at all. So if you have got any questions about communicating with your VA, if you've got any other tips about communicating with your VA, do comment down below. I love to hear the comments. More comments the better, because that gives me ideas for future videos. Thank you so much for watching. And if you find these videos useful, you might want to subscribe. There's a red subscribe button down there. We have videos coming out every Wednesday. So if you hit the bell, you'll get notified. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.